Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of announcing to you that we are going to make an effort to repeat the old reveille. 1, 2, 3.
With the Walkers, Cimarron produces a very special run of the original Walkers made by Samuel Colt in 1846. Cimarron is doing the entire production of 1,100 originals. They're going to be made companies A through F, starting with C, just like the actual productions were. A through D, they're going to be doing 001 through 220. With company F, it's going to be 001 through 120. And then there's going to be 100 civilian models to round out the original production run. The Walkers will be marked with the company and production numbers, just like the originals. As all the cartouches, it's done in Cimarron's original finish, so it looks exactly like a used 1847 Walker. You can get it individually or in a set. The set includes this attractive American Walnut case, powder flask, tin of caps. There's a nipple wrench, and get this limited edition Walker print that's going to be hand numbered with the number of your set. Mine is laminated. Yours is not going to be laminated. You can do that yourself. We can just frame it because it's a very, very nice looking piece. Now we're going to send you over to Cimarron's Steve Schwing, and he's going to show you how to load and fire the Walker. Enjoy.
So what we're going to do on the 1847 Walker before we start firing is go ahead, and this is routine, it should be routine for everybody, put some number 11 percussion caps on each chamber of the cylinder. We'll go ahead and fire a cap, make sure that the nipples are all in proper working order, and we'll also make sure that the chambers themselves are relatively dry. So with that, we'll go ahead and take out 6 of these percussion cap, number 11 percussion caps, made by Remington. You can use your favorite brand, it doesn't really matter. And then it's just a matter of putting your weapon safely downrange. Always have good muzzle control. And then we're going to put 1 cap on each one of these 6 nipples. Now there are nipple loaders for people with big fingers, such as myself, that make that a little bit easier as you go from one chamber to the next. And we're not using a nipple loader today, but that's all right. And then number 6. Okay, so we've got 1 nipple and 1 cap each on the chamber. We're just going to go ahead and fire this. Make sure they all pop, which they ought to. And 6. Now you'll notice that a lot of times those go ahead and fall out by themselves, which is great if they do. Some of them, like that one right there, is still hung on there. And that's why anytime I go and shoot black powder, I usually have a little toothpick that I can go ahead and just dislodge caps. And all those caps are now dislodged. Now that we've gone and done that, make sure we've got dry chambers. We're going to go ahead and load up this 1847 Walker's Walker. And what I like to do personally is take my Mod 1 U.S. military issued desert boot and use this for loading the Walker. Now, every time you turn around when you're over in a foreign country, it seems like somebody's giving you a new pair of boots. I got about 20 pair. And so I go ahead and load up the Walker in my boot, and that keeps it vertical. You'll see that it's not tilting anywhere, and that's relatively stable. So I figured that's a good reuse of military hardware, software in this case. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and charge up the cylinder. We're going to do that by putting it at half cock. And what we'll do is we'll charge up each individual chamber with black powder. We'll use about 50 grains of Pyrodex, triple F grain Pyrodex. We'll go ahead and load up each cylinder, and then we're going to go back up and load the ball. So with that set, at the half cock position, in here, Pyrodex. Two, and finally 6. So 6 chambers all loaded with Pyrodex. We're going to go ahead and just tap the firearm, just kind of get that Pyrodex all level. Now we're going to go ahead and take our ball, lead ball, that we'll load in on top of the powder. 6 of them. Now, if you were going to carry this, you would load up 5 of the chambers as opposed to 6. One of the other things we're going to do is we're going to use some lubricated wadding, and that lubricated wadding is going to go in between the powder and the lead ball. And so we'll just take out 6 of these, and you can get these anywhere. A lot of the local sporting goods store will have them. I recommend that wadding always get used anytime you're using something like this. If you do the wadding, it kind of negates the necessity of bore butter on top of the lead ball when you get done, which is what we are not going to do today. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and take a 44/45 caliber wad, put it right there on top of that first chamber. So we're going to go ahead and take a lead ball, put it on top of the wadding, drive it down a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and just rotate that chamber underneath the ramrod. We're going to let the divot on the ramrod, the concave portion of the ramrod, seat right on top of the ball, and then we're just going to go ahead and drive that ball down into the chamber, keeping your head away from the muzzle, which is important, okay? In theory, this would never discharge doing what we're doing, but there's this guy called Murphy. He's got a law, and if something bad can go on while you're doing this, it will. So never put yourself over the muzzle. Rotate, find the ball, and drive it down. And so on and so forth. Wad, ball, press it down, rotate it underneath, push the plunger down, and seat the ball. Okay, now you don't have to put all of your manhood into that ramrod. All right, you don't want to crush the powder. But what you want to do is make it so that there is no minimum space between the lead ball, the wad, and the powder. That's all you're trying to accomplish. Oh, and by the way, we're using Hornady black powder, 45 caliber, 5 or actually .457 diameter balls. Okay. There you have it. So we have 6 loaded chambers. Now, one other thing I want to point out is if you come in for the close-up shot, when we put that lead ball in, okay, it should shave a little bit of lead, and you'll see here, I'm gonna knock it out, that there's a little ring of lead right here. A ring of lead is your friend. You want to see that, okay? And that's what shaves off of the lead ball when you drop it in there, all right? So a lot of times those will hang on the front end of your cylinder. You can see some of them dropping out here. And usually what I do is I'll just take the cylinder and rotate it to get those lead scraps off of it. But the lead ring is your friend, and you want to see that, okay, as you load up those lead balls. That lets you know that that lead ball is seated well inside the chamber. And also you can go ahead and see now that if the camera angle is okay, that you should see 6 lead balls, 1 ball per chamber on this firearm. So what we're doing now is we're actually putting percussion caps on top of the nipples to the chambers that have already been loaded with black powder, as well as the lead ball. This is where muzzle control, as always, is very, very paramount in your evolution. If one of these caps were to detonate right now, it would ignite the chamber, and that chamber would fire a lead ball out. So positive muzzle control, very important at this stage of the evolution. Again, we're loading up 5 chambers, or actually 6 chambers, because we're going to be putting 6 balls down range. If we were going to be carrying this out and about, we would load up just 5 of the chambers and leave that hammer resting on an empty chamber. So, military issued ballistic glasses, also from the same place that the boot came from. I'll tell you, if you ever get a chance to serve, please do, because you get all this free stuff. It pays dividends in the long run. So we'll go ahead and put on our ear protection. We'll put our Pyrodex out back. Then we'll go ahead and put some rounds down range.
All right. All 6 shots through 1 hole. Ish.